Season. Okay, hello everybody. We are back. Football season is here. Another fall has arrived. The summer went quickly again, Randy, didn't it?
Yeah, I made it through 2 days, and I've got my helmet strapped on. I'm ready to go.
You're looking fit.
Yeah, let's go.
So, games start Friday night. We're ready to get the season started. We've already kind of done our football preview articles, and we're going to start off talking a little bit about our inner city teams. And normal communities looking pretty good again, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They've got their top running back, Varshawn Dixon, back. Had a great year last year, and a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster even this year. It sounds like they got Dalen Bodie, a junior quarterback, very athletic. And they've got an offensive line with 2 Division I recruits up front, so I expect them to be really, really good again.
Yeah, I know Dalen Bodie's got some big shoes to fill. Grant Price was quite a star for them for a few years, but normal community, they're going to get it started Friday night at Urbana, and they're looking pretty good in the Big 12, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be right up there contending with Peoria High and some of the others for the conference title again. They seem like they've established a program that's going to compete for a title every year. Yeah,
the first preseason polls did come out. Normal West will start week 1 as ranked number 6 in Class 7.
Normal Community.
Normal Community, I apologize. Thank you. I jump ahead of myself sometimes. Staying in the Big 12, Bloomington High School, Joe Walters enters his 2nd season, and they're going to kind of change things up with the offense, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to be a real fast-paced spread offense, which that's kind of the way of the world in the Big 12 now, with Peoria High having so much success with it. Normal Community runs a very fast-paced offense, and like Joe told me last year, it seemed like when they had to get into the 2-minute drill at the end of games, they were far better at that than they were in what they were trying to run initially. So he decided, why not just go to that. So.
Sounds like someone who's very in favor of this is quarterback Colton Sandage.
Yes, he's a big fan. Not surprisingly, he likes it very much, and he just said it frees a lot more freedom to it. Not only for him, but he said the running backs are able to make their own reads, and and they've got a lot of speed, so they've got the kind of personnel that'll fit nicely in that, I think.
Bloomington is the one inner-city team here that opens in town this weekend. Friday night they will be home against Peoria Manual at Fred Carlton Field. Moving on, staying in the Big 12, we now get to look at Normal West, as I mentioned before. Genesis Forest, what a season he's had, and he gets to come back this year.
Yeah, he had an amazing year last year, and his goal is to be better this year, which he's set the bar pretty high for himself. But yeah, he's a hard worker, it sounds like, and he's done a lot of things in the off season. He doesn't have a gym that he belongs to or anything like that. He just works out like crazy on his own, and he's kind of a self-made star, I think, and so I hope he can stay healthy and have another big year.
Yeah, and West has had the thing where they've put up a lot of points lately, and
yeah.
They've got that offense kind of growing. Now it's just a matter, can they stop teams?
Yeah, and that's what Darren Hess said. He said if they can shave 8 to 10 points a game off of what they give up, they're going to have a really good season, because last year they were right in a lot of games, but just gave up too many points, and it came back to haunt them.
So moving on now, we'll take a look at Central Catholic. Now they're reigning Corn Belt champions, but the Corn Belt is no more, and so they move over to the Illini Prairie Conference, and they're bringing back a starting quarterback for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and they're pretty excited about that. Max Mays had a very good year last year. They all had a rough first game against Tri-Valley, but he bounced back from that and was really good the rest of the season, and I think they went undefeated in the Corn Belt last year, which was no small feat. And so they've got a veteran offensive line, and top running back is back, so I think they're going to be able to make some noise again.
Yeah, you mentioned that offensive line with Joe Malinowski leading a veteran group there. That's going to be a big strength for them. Yeah,
he's going to Illinois State as a long snapper, but he's also a very, very good lineman both ways. He's a good defensive lineman as well, and Patrick Arahuba is a huge asset for them too. He's a good offensive lineman and a great linebacker, first team all Corn Belt last year. So they have some veteran players, and their numbers are not great, so they said the key will be if they can stay healthy, because if they can, they're going to be really good.
Yeah, and they're going to open the season Friday with a conference till the Illini Prairie, all games in the Illini Prairie conference games, so they're at Pontiac. It's going to be interesting to see how this conference shakes out with this. There's some tough teams on the east side.
Yeah, there are. Tolono Unity is ranked very high in the first rankings that came out, and St. Joe Ogden is always really good. Monticello's got a good program, so it's going to be fun to watch to see how some of the teams left from the Corn Belt stack up against those teams.
You mentioned those rankings. Central enters their first week in the preseason poll at number 6 in 3A. Moving on, the other former Corn Belt team here in town, they're going over to the Central State 8, which is a rugged conference for University High and first-year coach John Johnson.
Yeah, it is, and he made, he's right up front about that. He said, we know that it's going to be really challenging, but I think that there's been a really good mix there with him and the players. They've taken to him very well, and he's obviously a very knowledgeable coach. Has been doing it a long time at a lot of different levels, and he has a veteran quarterback in Doug Holmes, which will help. Yeah,
it's going to be, at least having some veteran leadership there is going to help them get through what's, could be a little bit of a rocky road, but they'll see what they can do. They're getting some votes in the poll already, not ranked, but they are getting some votes.
Yeah, they've got and Doug Holmes' top receiver is back also, Mark Waddell from last year, and he had a really very good season last year. So those two together, I think that's a good place to start for their offense.
Yeah, and U-High will open the season at Springfield. Now we're going to move on to the Heart of Illinois Conference, which has been quite impressive the past few years. We'll start with Tri-Valley, which hasn't lost a regular season game since 2014, I think 22 in a row.
Yeah, Josh Roop's got an incredible program built there, and last year they went 10-1. They've got a four-year starter in Cam Elam, who has been a terrific lineman, all-state lineman. He's going to move to fullback, I think, or running back this year, and I think he'll probably be a ton there. They lost Evan Smith, who was a terrific running back, transferred to a school in Nebraska, but they'll be awfully good again.
Yeah, awfully good again, ranked number 3 in Class 2A, and right behind them, as it's been the past couple of years, is number 4 in 2A, and that's DMAC. The reigning champs in Class 2A, what a magical season they had. Their only blemish was the Week 9 loss to Tri-Valley.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of seniors off that program, but they kind of reloaded.
yeah, they got Hunter Mole back, an all-state linebacker, and I guess an offensive lineman also. And they just seem to reload. I think, obviously they lost a big Jared Reese, the player of the year, graduating, but yeah, Joe Lindboom does a terrific job there, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they and Tri-Valley, when they play each other, how that goes. Yeah,
there was when I talked to Coach Lindboom, he was talking about they had to replace quarterback Derek Baker as well, and they're bringing up Levi Sherman, now a senior, and he was what Coach said was he's in a way bigger, stronger, and faster than Derek. So it's kind of a wealth of riches they've had there. They're going to have 4 seniors on their offensive line, a couple senior tight ends. They seem prepped for another deep run.
Yeah.
And over in the small school division in the HOI, we've got Gibson City, Melvin Sibley. They look kind of primed for a good run this year.
Yeah, they got Mitch McNutt, their star running back, is back, and I remember talking to him last year, and even last year he paid very close attention to what he eats. He gets a certain number of hours of sleep every night. He really holds himself to some pretty strict requirements, and just to keep himself healthy and at his absolute best. And I think that's the kind of guy that, doing that, he probably rubs off on some of his teammates, and they've got a lot of veterans back to join him.
Yeah, and GCMS, they're going to start the season out at number 9 in Class 2A. They're at home against PBL, a non-conference matchup, but a rivalry, which is always, a tussle of a game. Well, that's going to do it for our preview of Week 1. And as always, take a look at Panagraph.com and our Saturday section in the Panagraph print editions for all our coverage of Friday night's games. Thanks. Have a good day.